Hari Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryan Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so the topic is the four ashramas or spiritual divisions of the society. First we can say that what is the idea? What is the focus behind these four divisions? Well, first is definitely spiritual development, or saying it in a more practical way, we can say the idea is gradual expansion of consciousness. Later we will explain a little more about that, but expansion of consciousness means, are you conscious only about yourself and only about your needs, or you're conscious for few people around you, or you're conscious for even the needs of more people, or you're conscious for the needs of the whole society. So according to the level of consciousness, we have different spiritual stages, and the idea is progressively, when a person is passing through these stages, actually to elevate, to expand his vision about the world and his interaction with the world. So that's one reason. Then the other reason of advancement in the spiritual stages is reducing your attachment to material world. How attached you are and how detached you become. And the idea is that at the end of this life, we are completely detached from matter and completely attached to spiritual. To who? Krishna. Yes, that's it. That's it. So simple. So that is the idea of the whole exercise. That is the idea of gradually going through different steps. So these steps, having in them a certain lifestyle with a certain rules, basically in a very balanced and gradual way, they are pushing you to become more and more and more detached from matter and more and more and more attached to Krishna. So now the first spiritual level is known as brahmachari life or student life. And generally this is from 5 to 25 years old. So from you, I think only Rose is maybe in this group, 5 to 25. Okay, so let's say first few things about this brahmachari ashram. Generally, the boys begin their brahmachari education by becoming separate from home, and they go to a gurukula, they go to the school of the spiritual master. Why? A little later we'll mention why. But just to say for now, this is much better environment for their training and education. They'll be more focused there. They'll make bigger spiritual advancement. Now the girls, generally for the girls, is advised that they stay at home and they are educated and trained at home. Or they go to school and they go back home. But they don't live in a traditional gurukula. Why? Because the lifestyle in the traditional gurukula is little bit austere, severe, purposefully. Because the boys, they need this to be trained properly. Later again we'll say why, what kind of qualities they have to basically get so that they are good for this. So, During this period, it is advised that there is as much as possible separation between the girls and the boys. Now we will explain why, but first I will read something. So during the brahmachari life, the students, the candidates, they take a vow of brahmacharya. It is meant for one to help him completely abstain from sex indulgence in work, words, mind, in all times, circumstances and places. And then there is like a famous verse which is quoted from one sage, and this verse is explaining that when one takes a brahmachari vow, traditionally he should abstain from 8 things. What are these 8 things? Thinking about ladies, speaking about sex life, dialing with women. What is dialing?
Like maybe talk. Dial.
I think it's more.
Interact. Interact.
I think something like that. Yeah. Looking lustfully at women, talking intimately with women, deciding to engage in sexual intercourse, endeavoring for sex life, and engaging in sex life. So what is the idea behind it? Well, the idea is that this is one of the most attractive things for the conditioned soul, this intimate relationship between men and ladies. And if your mind once goes there, it's very difficult to make him study. It's very, very difficult to make him study. So the idea is to have some, like we could say, separation, social separation, so that both boys and girls, they can focus and they can social distancing, so that they can nicely focusing on their education, their study. This is the idea. It's not some kind of dogma or some kind of, I don't know, superstition or old-fashioned social rule or something like that. There is like a reason behind it, yes.
So why do the girls have to go in a setting that's like easier on them?
Okay, let's go for this topic. Now, boys and girls, they have little bit different physics and also different psychology, yes? So now boys, they are a little bit more rough and tough. So if you leave them in a very easygoing environment, which is a home, where the mommy is there, basically most of them will become very lazy and self-centered. Why? Because they will just stay a whole day. The mom will clean, the mom will cook, the mom will serve, the mom will do everything for them, and this will completely spoil their character. So that's why they have to be forced to go out of home. So they have to become a real man. It's something like a military training, but it's a soft military training. But the idea is that there is a certain amount of austerity. They are getting used to it. They are getting used that they have to learn to fight with life. Because after that, life will be about fighting. When they got married later, and when there is uncomfortable situation, and the lady being more soft by nature, she will say, I cannot do that. Go and do it. And now if the man says the same thing, what we are going to do? So now the man should be the hero. He has to say, yes, just stay here, relax, and I'll do this difficult job. And he'll just go out there and do the heavy stuff. Like the wheel tire of the car is gone. Yes, and outside is 10 degrees. And the lady is saying, I'm not going out. You just figured it out. And then the man is also saying, I'm also not going to do it. Just you go and do it. Oh, what is this? This is not a man. Isn't it? Oh, now he have to say, of course, my dear. You stay at car, stay on warm, and I'll do the job. Don't worry, just relax. And he'll go and he'll do the job. This is the man part at life. So in order that man can become a man, he has to go through this training. So this training gives him austerity, gives him strong character, determination. He's very focused because he went through this austerity. Also, from this training, he learns to be very sensitive and self-controlled. Why sensitive and self-controlled? Because if he doesn't have these two qualities, he will fail most probably in his married life after that. Because if he cannot control his senses, his wife will stop respecting him. And if he is not sensitive, when she expresses something, some emotion, this, that, if he's too
callous,
yes, then he won't deal properly with the situation, and his wife won't be happy because she'll need attention to share something. Let's say she had very difficult emotional time at work or whatever with someone, so she want to share. Now if he's not sensitive, he'll just say, do you know how many problems I had in my job? Just leave me alone. I want to watch TV. Let's go speak with the kids or someone else. Just come on, give me a break. So that's why two very important qualities for him. Now the nature of the girl is different. She's generally, the ladies, they are more emotional. Yes? So it's very easy to hurt their emotions. So that's why generally it's better for them to be active in a protected environment. Protected means that someone who cares about them will make sure that no one will hurt them. That's the idea. Not that ladies cannot go out and cannot they do it. They can, but they will have to pay much more heavy price than the men. Because the men being more heavy by nature, they will much easier take all these problems like clashes outside. Outside the world is like a jungle. You have to go through all kinds of situations. So for them it will be, again, not completely easy, but it will be much easier with the tough nature that they have. For the lady it will be much more difficult. Emotionally it will be more difficult. So that's why, that is the idea. And of course it's not that like the ladies, they stay at home and they never go out. But they do so, again, in a protected environment as much as possible nowadays. And this is for their good, actually, because they'll be more happy, more peaceful, more protected. Like we can see in the European culture, even just 1-2 centuries ago, the aristocratic families, they would always very much protect the ladies. So that was the culture. So does this answer to the question to some extent? Do you want to ask something else or say something?
Well, I feel like I left home and came to New York, and I'm like in spiritual study, and I'm in like extreme austerities, and that's making me really strong. So I don't know. I see benefit from
Yes.
not staying home.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Two things. First thing is you are coming from a different culture, so you are already part of this culture. Anyway, you are going to do it. So now within this situation, you can try to do the best possible arrangement. And then the second thing is, okay, let's say by coming here, you are getting some protected environment. That's the idea, yes? So you find your way to do it. But just the point is that lady on her own, outside in the jungle, it will be very easy someone to exploit her. That's the idea. The ladies, they should have someone who is able to protect them as much as possible. Because nowadays it's not possible 100%, but as much as possible. Okay, so now the brahmachari, some of his main duties and training. His primary, most important duty is service to the spiritual master. So this applies to the brahmacharis in the Gurukul, but this applies to every spiritual practitioner in ISKCON as well. Sooner or later, it is advised that we accept the spiritual master, and then our primary duty is to satisfy the desires of the spiritual master. Isn't it? Yes. Then he lives in the home of the spiritual master just like a servant. So it is advised that the brahmachari is physically engaged in menial service to the spiritual master. Why? Because it's training him. He's getting qualities like humility, ready to be a servant. Like, for example, he is at home with the wife, and the wife is saying, throw out the garbage. And he's saying, no, you throw it out. Oh, it doesn't work like that. So if he went through the proper training, and when the wife says, throw out the garbage, he'll say, yes.
No, he won't wait. If she says something, he'll just do the
Already do it.
Do what needed to be done.
Yes, this would be even better. So that's the idea. Ready to always do menial service for the spiritual master. Traditionally, a brahmachari will go and beg alms from door to door and bring them to the spiritual master. So brahmachari is very active, he is not lazy, whole day he is doing something, but the benefit from his work doesn't go for him. It goes for spiritual master and the Gurukula, for the school. So in this way, he learns to be very enthusiastic and very active, but without getting a result out of it. Like nowadays, we can see there are many, many active people, but why are they active? Why? Yes, there is very strong personal motivation. Oh, if I work hard today, 3 jobs, then at the end of the day I'll make $500. Yes, then I'll work. But now if you tell him you have to work three jobs and at the end of the day you won't get anything, please do it. How many people will do it? Nobody. So why? Because they are not trained to work if there is no immediately some kind of asset. Yes, asset. So this is another quality that a brahmachari should develop. He is working for the benefit of Guru and Krishna, even without having material result. Then takes food only under the master's order. Traditionally, a brahmachari, he will live in the Gurukula, he will go, he will beg alms, he will bring them to the Gurukula, but unless asked from the spiritual master to go and eat, he won't eat. And if the spiritual master for some reason does not call him to come and eat this day, he'll just fast. This again part of learning to control your senses, also following authority. You have authority, whatever authority says, you have to do it. So basically discipline, character and discipline, this is what the brahmachari should develop. Of course nowadays it's not exactly like that. It's not that we are waiting someone to tell us, come and eat, but again we are trying to have some regulation. Let's say in the temple, breakfast is 9 o'clock. So you take breakfast at 9. You don't go to eat at 6 or 7:30 or 8:15 or no, 9 o'clock. So again you learn regulation. That is the idea. Another very important duty of the student is studying the Vedas. This actually is one of his main duty. Every day he has to spend some time and study Veda. What is saying Chanakya Pandit? For a brahmachari, for a student, every day he has to learn at least 1 shloka. Or if not 1 shloka, half shloka. Or if not half shloka, at least 1 word. But he has to learn something. That's essence of his existence, his life. And traditionally the brahmacharis, they will study ideally 3 of the Vedas. Each Veda, it takes generally 12 years to study. So if they go through study of the 3 Vedas, it will take them 36 years. So if they go in the Gurukul when they are 5 or 6. That means they will finish their education when they are 41, 42. So basically they will come out from the Gurukul professors. In the Vedic field they will be considered professors because they studied all the needed material. And they will be really knowledgeable in everything that you have to know for this traditional Vedic lifestyle. Now we have some Gurukuls where generally the kids they graduate when they are around 20, I think, something like that, 20, 22 maybe. So study the Veda, it's very important duty of the brahmacharis. So they have to develop qualities like self-control, cleanliness, truthfulness, and other saintly qualities. Also, we said very important quality of the brahmacharis, following authority. Very, very important quality. Why? Because always in your life you have some authority. And if you don't have a concept of following the authority, it will be very difficult in life. Always we have authority. Like when we are small, the parents are authorities, then the teachers are authorities, then you get married, so your wife will be authority, your husband will be authority. A job you have authority. Always there will be someone who is some kind of authority. So if someone has a very deep grudge against following authority, it will be very difficult in life as a general. Of course, this does not mean that one should be blind and just follow blindly the authority. No, it's recommended that he is like independently thoughtful personality. So he has some common sense, he has intelligence, and he's judging the situations and what the authority is saying, this, that, and sometimes he can throw the ball back to the authority and ask why. Okay, I will do it, but can you explain me why? And if the authority is normal, he will explain. But as a general, following authority is a good, very good quality.
If he's not normal, what happens?
If he is not normal, he will have to suffer.
Ooh, wow.
Why? Because the whole universe is based on order. So there are two Greek words. So what Swami was explaining in one of his classes. Arche and anarchy. So arche means order and anarchy means chaos. Yes, disorder, without order. So universe is based on order. Like if we see how the universe is working, everything is orderly. Like the sun is coming out every day on the same time, going down exactly when it should go. The moon is coming out. Then the winter is coming. Then the spring is coming. Everything is acting according to the order of the Supreme Lord. So now if we refuse to accept authority and not to act according to the orders of a certain authority, that means we are creating disorder in this orderly society. So basically we are creating troubles, problems.
Or like if the authority is disobeying Krishna and then everyone under them and them are creating disorder. Is that what you were saying? Like if the leader is not normal, then they're like corrupt and...
Well, if the leader is not following his leader, he is not a leader. If authority is not following his authority, he is not. Like authority is one thing, it's like a chain. You are getting it. It's like an electric current. You cannot have the electric current unless you are connected with the...
Krishna, right?
Yes, basically. So in order someone to be in a position of authority, he has to follow authority. Otherwise, how he has the power of authority? And yes.
But if he misuses his authority, he's been given this authority.
He'll suffer.
He will suffer.
Yes.
He will,
Yes.
okay.
Because there are norms in the universe, there are laws. And if you don't follow these laws, You have to follow them, but you'll be pushed to follow them by force. To take some time. Depends how stubborn you are. But we will learn our lesson. The question is how we are going to learn it. The easy way or the hard way. That's it. But you don't have a choice. You learn. Like someone who is disobedient in the country, they'll speak with him 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, but if he doesn't want to learn his lesson the easy way, he'll have to learn what is the hard way? Your freedom becomes
Limited.
yes, less and less and less and less and less. So this is what's happening. Being in a position of authority, you have freedom, you have power to execute certain things. Now, if you are misusing it, your power will decrease. Your freedom will also shrink. So this is how it goes. And the more you use properly your situation, the more you are advancing. You want to say something?
Yeah, and the more you'll be promoted, you get more power.
Okay. So, also practically a brahmachari should become expert in different things. Cooking, puja, preaching, kirtan. We know Srila Prabhupada, he wanted each and every devotee in ISKCON to have few qualities. So he wanted each and every devotee to be very expert cook, to be very expert musician, kirtan performer, and to know the philosophy very nicely.
Is that puja?
Puja, you are asking what is puja? Puja means worshipping the Lord. What is the proper way to worship the Lord? There is a system how you do it.
What was the 4th one? I know it was kirtan, cooking.
Kirtan,
puja,
yes. So cooking, preaching means to know very nicely the philosophy, and kirtan means to be expert musician, expert performer of kirtan. So we have some work to do here. Yes? But why? What is the idea? Well, through these ways, in a very nice cultural way, you can expand and explain Krishna consciousness to others. Yes? Like for example, if you go somewhere and you start just speaking some dry philosophy and okay, Krishna consciousness is just austerity, suffer, 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 because you have to purify yourself, purify the heart, and that's it. And yes, you have to do it, and it's very, very, very difficult, but no, you have to push yourself and do it. But that's one way to present Krishna consciousness. But now you can present it in another way. Present how actually nice and positive is the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. That just by accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and glorifying Him by chanting His names, you can purify yourself and you can go back to the spiritual world. And the process is super universal because it's for everybody, young and old, intelligent and non-intelligent, for everybody. Everybody can sing the names of Krishna and can make spiritual advancement. So by knowing nicely the philosophy, you can present it nicely according to the person. And then you can make him experience the philosophy. How people will experience practically the philosophy, in our case.
By practicing.
So what is the practice?
Follow the proper rules.
Chanting, kirtan. Okay, now we are talking. And then and prasadam, yes. This is like we are speaking, but at the end, it all comes to kirtan and prasadam. This is how we experience what is Krishna consciousness. We talk, we explain to the people, yes, Krishna consciousness is this and that, and this philosophical point, and that philosophical point, and up and down, and left and right. But then people, they watch, and they don't know actually what is Krishna consciousness. Now you have to give them to taste. How are they tasting? By kirtan and prasadam, yes. When they taste amazing taste of prasadam, when they experience the amazing taste of kirtan, then they understand, wow, Krishna consciousness is something very nice, very sweet. So that's why Srila Prabhupada wanted all the devotees to be expert in these three.
The proof is in the pudding.
Correct?
Said by George Harrison.
Yes, yes,
That's what that's referring to the whole time.
yes.
Wow.
We've seen the pudding. Isn't it? Okay. So a brahmachari should learn submission to the spiritual master. So basically, a brahmachari, as a whole, a disciple, he has the idea that, okay, the instructions, the desires of the spiritual master, they have absolute value for him. It's like, it's not that he's picking and choosing. Oh, this one I will do, and this one I don't like it so much, so I won't do it. It's not like that. He really has to understand what is the desire of the spiritual master and give his whole life and soul to try to fulfill the desire of the spiritual master. This is the essence of the life of a disciple. So that's why a brahmachari should learn submission to the desire of the spiritual master. Traditionally, brahmacharis, they learned how to make sacrifices, fire sacrifices, like in the Mayapur Gurukula. When you go to Mayapur, if you go every Saturday morning, they have Maha sacrifice, Maha Yagya. It takes around 1 hour, and the boys are doing it. Some of the teachers are there, but they just stay around and they watch, and if need be, they correct them. But actually, the boys, they are doing the whole Yagya from the beginning to the end. They prepare the Yagya, they sing the mantras, they do the fire offering of the ghee, all the different ceremonies one after the other, the whole thing. And of course, all the mothers are there watching their kids and like enjoying how amazing they are. Like on 8-10 years old, they are already making these Vedic performances that we don't know how to do. Yes.
It's called Mahayagya.
Mahayagya,
Is
yes.
it- And the reason for it is because of what's being offered? It's called Maha. I mean, well,
The reason is
It becomes
Maha
Maha.
means like great, big. Because they have every day they have a yagi in the Gurukula, but it's like the basic one. But once in a week, Saturday, they have how you say, like more elaborate
I see. Okay.
yagi. They sing all the mantras that they know, so it takes a long time. And that's why it's called Maha, bigger, greater. Yeah, it's very beautiful to see actually. Me and Pandava Prabhu, we have a plan and a desire to show you many different pictures from Mayapur, from South India. So gradually we will start making some arrangements to show you all this. Okay, so then a brahmachari also has a friendship with the spiritual master. So it's not that their relationship is just based on own and reverence and you have to do this, yes sir, I will do it. It's not just like that. Yes, there is this element of authority, but actually big part of the relationship is very close, very intimate and based on friendship. So gradually with the time of the advancement of the disciple, the relationship between spiritual master and disciples become more and more and more relationship of friendship, actually, firm friendship. Always when the brahmacharis or disciples, they are seeing the spiritual master, they have to pair their obeisances to the spiritual master. So generally the lifestyle in the Gurukula is kept very, very simple. So a brahmachari should be satisfied with whatever comes on its own accord. He should not be greedy than more than what is naturally coming. So that means if one day for lunch there is soup and bread, he should learn to be happy with this. And next day there will be a 10-course menu, he should be happy with that. And next day again, soup and bread, he should be happy with this. Whatever it comes, he should be happy, satisfied. Why? because later in his married life, whatever it comes, he will be happy and satisfied, and it will not change his mood. So he'll be very steady and trustworthy, because he's always there. So let's say the wife sometimes may need him, he is there. And if she doesn't need him, okay, he's just staying there and waiting. And then the next moment she needs him, he's again there. So he's very reliable from this perspective. So this steadiness makes him very reliable. He won't just change his mood frequently and this and that. He's there. If need be, I'm here. I'm ready for action. So a brahmachari is, as we said, avoiding association with ladies as far as possible. As far as possible means they associate when it is necessary. Let's say something has to be done, no problem. A brahmachari is not that he won't associate with ladies, but he won't do it whimsically just for sense gratification. That is the idea. In fact, one of the interesting ceremonies in the Gurukula is that when the boy is getting through some of his vows in the Gurukula, brahmachari vow and so on and so on. So he has to beg alms from his spiritual master after the ceremony. The first person to which he goes is a lady, and not just any lady, but his mother particularly. Why? Because it's sure that his mother won't refuse to give him alms. So it's a very good samskara. He is going for begging. The first person that he asks immediately gives him alms. It's very good memory in his mind that, okay, it will be easy, it will be nice, it will be good, it will be okay. That's the idea. Another interesting ceremony from the Vedic education, traditionally in the schools, in the Gurukulas, I don't think they are doing it now, but traditionally it was like that. When they start their education, when they have to learn the letters, so the first day the teacher gives them, like they have like their board for writing, and the teacher gives them a honey, and they have to write the letters with a honey, and then they have to lick it. Why? Why? What is the idea?
Well, they write.
They write letters, and then they lick the letters.
So they won't forget.
So
They'll remember.
when you eat when you write something and when you lick it, you won't forget that what you wrote down.
No, it's very simple logic. This
It's
is something
sweet.
very sweet.
Yes,
Maybe
yeah,
because
yeah.
It's something very lovable.
Like you will love
It will be
I
nice.
see.
Yeah.
It won't be something bitter, something difficult, something hard to do. It will be something very, very nice. This is the first impression in the mind. You start something, you are going to do it for many years. Now what will be the first impression? If the first impression is, did you learn your lesson? No. Okay, bad mark. Get out of here. You're not good for this job. So this impression will stay for the whole time. The kid, he will not want to go through this anymore. But now, by having this amazing impression in the beginning, he understands, oh, what is coming the next 12 years, it will be something very, very nice. Very sweet. That's the logic.
As sweet as honey. It's
Yes, as sweet as honey. So basically, it's very scientific process, the whole thing, the whole idea, how it goes deeply in your mind. That's the idea.
And it will stick.
They should do that with kids here.
Maybe.
There'll be a lot of
When you become teachers, then you'll do it. Yes?
Definitely.
so much honey. You will need.
True. You do agave or something.
When he goes out to beg alms, the association should be very short and he should talk only about spiritual matters. Should not indulge in applying powder or ointment to the eyes, massaging the head with oil, massaging the body with hands, decorating the body with flower garlands, smearing scented ointments on the body, or decorating the body with ornaments. Well, basically things that makes him more and more bodily conscious. That's opposite to the idea of education. The idea of Vedic education is to become self-realized, to understand I'm not the body, I'm the soul, the self. So all these things that makes you becoming more and more bodily conscious, for this period they are not done. Later they will be doing them when they become family people. They'll dress in a nice clothes, they will put ornaments, they can put oil, very nice scented oil on their head. They can do all these things, but that's for later. Now first they have to learn character. That's the most important thing. After completing the education, the brahmachari should give dakshina to his guru and accept grihastha ashrama, or he may continue in the brahmachari ashram. So after finishing their education, they have to express their gratitude to the spiritual master by giving him dakshina. Dakshina means some reward for the knowledge that they got. So it can be financial thing, or it can be just very nice present, something, clothes. Like very often in the Vedic culture, the brahmanas, the teacher, they get as a present like a dhoti or chadar or something like something practical, gamsha. The idea is to express your gratitude to a spiritual master. And also this is the way how the brahmanas traditionally they were maintaining themselves. So they had to get some maintenance somehow or other. And then they have a choice. Some of those persons, they'll continue living as brahmacharis. And some of them, they'll get married. On what depends if they'll stay brahmacharis, so they'll stay in this lifestyle, or they'll move in the next ashram and they'll get married. Well, it depends on the level of their realization. Why? Because throughout these years, basically the essence of their studying was, I'm not the body, I'm the soul. Yes? So now, if they got very deep realization about this thing, that I'm the soul, then why I have to complicate my lifestyle? I don't need this. Why I have to go into material direction? Because family life, one way or the other, it will means, okay, we are expanding in this direction. So if the person is totally self-realized, spiritually realized, he will say, okay, just let me completely focus on the spiritual matters and work whole life hard about Krishna, and then at the end of life I just go back to the spiritual. That's the idea. But now someone will get this knowledge, but for him it will be more theoretical than practical. So he has the knowledge, he knows the goal of life is to serve Krishna, the goal of life is to completely surrender to Krishna, the goal of life is to realize I'm not this body. But still, I don't have complete realization. So now, let me gradually go through the other spiritual steps of the society so that at the end of my life, I have this realization. That is the idea. So basically, some will learn completely just by hearing the knowledge. It will be enough for them. They hear it, they think about it, they contemplate, and they say, it makes sense? Okay, that's it. Some others, they'll hear the knowledge, they'll contemplate, and then they'll say, I want to be sure that it's like that. So let me try, let me go through it. And then they'll have to go through the other 3 or 2 ashrams. Family life, and then retired life, and then for some, complete renunciation from the world, sannyas life. So that's why it is said some will stay brahmachari, some will move to the next ashrama, grihastha ashrama. Practicing celibacy or brahmachari is essential for advancement in spiritual life. Okay, so do you have some questions about brahmachari ashram, this level of spiritual existence?
I have a question about the word itself, ashram. Each time I hear ashram, I'm thinking it's a place. There's a place where whatever.
Ashram, ashram means, ashraya means shelter. So ashram is a place where give you shelter to perform properly your spiritual practice. So according to the physical conditioning and the mental conditioning of someone, they will be properly situated in a different places. For some who is conditioned in one way, brahmachari life will be very easy and natural. For someone, it will be very difficult. For someone else, family life will be very easy to function there and to be steady in his spiritual practice. For someone else, this will be very, very difficult and detrimental. So that's why, according to the conditioning of different souls, you have different places where they can situate themselves so that they can properly perform their spiritual practice. So that's the idea of ashram. It's a place where give us shelter so that we can perform nicely our spiritual practice. You want to add something?
So, for example, where we are here in the Tibetan in this temple, this is an ashram.
This is an ashram, yes.
This is an ashram.
Why? Because it's a place that gives you shelter to perform your spiritual culture. But in this sense, especially, ashram means, in this sense especially, ashram means something else. Ashram means a stage of life in which you execute your spiritual culture. This is how it is. So that's why it is said the Vedic culture has 4 social stages and 4 spiritual stages through which generally one goes so that we can achieve spiritual elevation. Something else? No. Okay. So, why we said that these ashrams help us to elevate our consciousness? Well, generally in the brahmachari ashram, one is totally self-conscious. He is a little bit in ignorance. He thinks only about himself. Do I feel sleepy? Do I ate enough for breakfast? When the lunch will be? I don't feel good. It's all about me, all about me, all about me. Now, when one goes to the next ashram, family ashram, it is supposed that this will change. At least that is the idea. So now, instead of thinking only about himself, he'll expand his consciousness and he'll start thinking about at least about his family. Maybe not more than this, but before he was conscious only about himself and his needs, okay, now he will be conscious at least for another 2 or 3 persons. So it's getting better. He's getting less self-conscious and more conscious about the others. Yes? And then gradually when you move into the other ashrams, it should become even better. Let's say someone who is a vanaprastha, retired from family life. Now he was thinking about only his family. Now he's supposed to become a teacher of the whole village. So now he thinks about all families in the village.
The community,
Yes, about the community. And then when someone reaches the 4th level in spiritual life, sannyas, then it is supposed that he is thinking about everybody. Vasudeva Kutumbakam. The whole world becomes his family. Now he doesn't discriminate. Oh, this is my kid, I'll take care of it. And what about the other kid on the street? No, both are my kids. I should try to give mercy to both one way or the other. This is the vision of the saintly person, a sannyasi. So in this way we have expansion of consciousness gradually through the spiritual levels. Yes?
I was just going to ask, because we kind of followed the boys' journey.
Yes.
Like, what do the women...
The girls'
Yeah.
journey. Well, again, they are going through a training. They are, as we said, more or less, they are getting Same training, but just environment is different. It's recommended to be at home in a protected environment with close people. Close people won't hurt you as unknown people, yes? So that is the idea. But basically they should develop similar qualities to the boys' ones, but not exactly the same. Like, for example, it is said for a girl the most important qualities are chastity and satisfaction. Why? Because she has to be chaste to her husband, obviously. I mean, he also has to be chaste. But for a lady particularly, it is said this is very, very important quality. And satisfaction, why? Well, because most probably with the husband they'll be going through different phases. And sometimes they may have a lot, sometimes they may not have much. Still, this should not become the reason for their relationship to break. So that's why once she chooses a person with which she's going through life, no matter through what they are going, she has to have this firm determination to stick with it. And actually in the Vedic tradition we have amazing examples of some ladies. They are like considered like universal examples for those things. like one of those ladies is Gandhari, is the wife of Dhritarashtra. Have you heard about her? Dhritarashtra from Bhagavad Gita, the blind king, who is asking a question in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. So what happened on the battlefield? And then Sanjay is relating him because he cannot see. So he was blind by birth. Now arrangement was made that he will get married for this very chaste lady. She was very beautiful also, Gandhari. And she, because she did not want to be, how to say in English?
Superior.
Yes. Superior in any respect to her husband, she voluntarily took like a clot on her eyes, and she voluntarily said, I will also be blind, so that I'm on the level of my husband. And she lived her whole life like that. But because of following this lifestyle, she became such a empowered and powerful and spiritually and morally strong lady that what was the case? She became very angry to Bhima by killing her sons.
Bhima killed all her sons in battle.
So she was internally, she had such an anger that I think she just little looked to his feet, just down from the cloth, and already he starts feeling how his body starts burning. She had such a power from this voluntary austerity that she accepted. Another example for such a lady is Sita Devi. Why? Because when Lord Ramachandra had to go to the forest, and Lord Ramachandra said to her, "You're too fragile to come with me in the forest. This will be too much for your fragile body. So you stay here and wait for me. And when my exile is over, after 12 years, I'll come back." But she said, "No, it doesn't matter if it's going to be easy or difficult, I have to come with you. Now when it was easy, I was with you. Now when it's difficult, I will be always with you. I will never separate with you." So she's given us an amazing example of like chastity and satisfaction also in no matter what they were going through. And of course, a lady, she should know some practical things, like for example to cook. Why? Because, how to say, practically speaking, a big part of the satisfaction for the man is coming through his belly. So if there is always tasty food, there will be always very nice mood at home. And that's very practical. Everybody likes to eat, the kids like to eat, the lady likes to eat, the man likes to eat, everybody likes to eat. So if she can cook very amazing things, it will be eternal festival at home, for example.
Wouldn't the husband be a really great cook too, after all those years?
Let's hope so. Traditionally, yes. Traditionally, he should be, because that's the idea in the Gurukula. Like in Mayapur Gurukula, when with Pandava we were helping a little bit. Not so much with the kids, but we were looking what's going on there with the kids. So the kids, they cook every day there. The kids, they cook
We
every day.
don't have cooks or cleaners in our group. So the boys are doing everything. And
They
by the
cook.
age they are like 12 or 13. They have already been cooking for several years. And when they become 16, some of them are already in charge for the whole kitchen. And they prepare amazing feasts. And actually, the Gurukula boys were cooking for major festivals in Mayapur, like the Prabhupada Disappearance Day. And yeah, it helps that the boy knows cooking, because first of all, when the wife cooks something that is nice, then he can actually appreciate. He can say, he can say, okay, I'm very impressed how you did this recipe. Actually, you did it in this special way because you put this and this spice and you cooked it in this way. Otherwise, the lady makes endeavor, and then the husband just eats, and he doesn't even notice that she put so much, because he's not aware of the cooking scene.
That's the point. He'll be aware how much endeavor she put to make this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's not conscious. He's not sensitive. Let's say she was shopping, she was cooking, she was cleaning, and all these things took 5 hours. If he went through this process many times, he'll know. He'll immediately appreciate. Wow. In order to make this, you have to be in the kitchen at least 5 hours. Or he'll appreciate, actually. That's expression of love. Otherwise, he'll not know. For him, it will be, one sandwich in a plate. So what? Not a big deal. So, yes, this helps him.
And also the girls they go to Gurukul. Although traditionally it's for boys only, but the girls would go, especially the Brahmana girls, they would go, but they will go to, let's say, the Gurukul of her uncle or some relative, and they would go only for these particular subjects they're interested. They will not go and stay there and go through the whole austerity. It's not necessary for them. They'll go and they'll learn whatever they want to learn during the day with somebody. They will sit behind and not with the boys, not behind, like in a and they'll learn whatever they want to learn. And the rest they will learn at home from the mother, from other relatives. So it is anyway.
But let's say that they won't sleep in the Gurukula. They won't get up very early, like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and take cold shower in the winter. But the boys, they have to go through something like that, because for them it will be good. It will be like making their character strong. But for the ladies,
and another thing, the boys they get Upanayana. Well, that means they get the Brahmana thread, the sacred thread after. Not after. This is when they give their brahmachari vows. They acquire the Brahminical initiation. And as Tulsi Prabhu said, this is a very austere. It's very austere to live in Gurukula, actually. Of course, the boys, they don't notice this because that's the lifestyle they're used to. So Prabhupada said for children, they very easily pick up austerity. So for them, it's not a problem. But the same benefit that the boys get after so much austerities, the girls are getting at their Vivaha Yagya, by the marriage ceremony. So this is their Upanayana. So although they don't formally get this Brahman thread, they get the same benefit with much less price. They don't have to go through this. They don't have to go and live in the house of the guru for 25 years.
I'm sure that childbirth has quite the austerity.
there is austerity there, yes. The birth is austerity, but to take care of the kid, that's more austerity. Yes, definitely. Well, that's why, traditionally, everybody knew their duties. Like, let's say, the mother, she will stay home and take care of the kids. Why? because she is very good at this. A mother is very good at giving the kid what the kid needs. All the love and care and emotional support, all these things. Father, he's more gross guy. And okay, at least he shouldn't just waste his whole day at home. Just at least go outside and do something. Just get some money. Bring home some food, something. Do. So everybody had some duty to do. Now the problem very often, that's the problem of the material culture. Everything is very mixed and, how you say it in English, topsy-turvy.
Topsy-turvy.
Why? Because nobody knows what actually he has to do, or one person has to do everything. Like a mother, first he has to go and work hard the whole day, and then at the same time somehow he has to find a time to give quality time to the kids and give them some education. And then he has to help them with their lessons, give them emotional support, deal with her own problems at life. All this alone, it's very difficult. And cook.
And shop.
Yes. So it's that's why the idea is together, and then everybody knows his duties, and they help, they support each other. That is the idea of yeah. So next time, I think we will speak more about family life. I mean, we can speak also now, but I think maybe let's just keep the sessions, let's say, till hour something. So yeah, we will stop till here, and if you have some more questions, you can ask, or you can think about it, and then next time you can ask again. And if you like, we can go up in the temple now, because I think the last arati is going on, and still we can get darshan of the deities. And then I will see if there is some prasadam. I will try to bring you some prasadam also.